Well, hi there. Welcome from Las Vegas. If you are watching the video version of this podcast, you can see the red behind me. It's been kind of a complicated trip. Miss Firefly and I have been here for about a week, and we leave tomorrow for Orlando. And it's been kind of fun. But anyway, this is the Sovereign CEO podcast. If you didn't already know, I am Caleb Jones. I help people just like you how to set up location-independent businesses and move to a less bad country, or at least set up an international backup plan and do all these things for much less money. And today, we're going to talk about dating when you live a location-independent lifestyle. Now, I know what you're going to say, but Caleb, if this is a dating topic, this should be over at your Alpha Male 2.0 channel or your Alpha 2.0 podcast, not your Sovereign CEO podcast. Wrong. Regardless of what your dating scenario or relationship scenario is, when you live a location-independent lifestyle, an international lifestyle, you're gonna have to address this. I don't care if you're married, I don't care if you're dating, I don't care if you're single, I don't care if you have a girlfriend, you could be a woman watching this, so I don't care if you have a boyfriend or a husband or whatever the hell, it doesn't matter, you're gonna have to address this in some form or fashion, right? This is a part of your life you have to address in terms of living this lifestyle. So I'm presenting this to you in this podcast strictly as an aspect to your location-independent lifestyle. I'm not gonna give you dating techniques here. I'm not gonna give you hardcore relationship management techniques. If you want those, then yes, you should go to my Alpha Male 2.0 podcast and my Alpha Male 2.0 content, and I will give you more than enough for those. So here, I'm just gonna give you an overview of how you have to address these. So you have to kind of break this out in a few categories. One would be if you are totally single. One would be if you have a serious relationship, but you are not living with someone. And one would be if you are living with someone, you are married. And if you're familiar with my Alpha 2.0 content, if you live with a woman full-time in a romantic context, you are married. I don't care what you signed or not signed or agreed to or not agreed to. You are living the lifestyle of a married man, so I'm gonna call you married. You may say, I'm not married. I didn't go down to court and sign a piece of paper. I don't care. You're living the lifestyle of a married dude. Even if you're like me and you have an open marriage, you have sex with other women besides your wife, which I do every week, just did yesterday, you are still living the lifestyle of a married guy. Now, one quick aside. I fully realize that some of you are women watching this content. Since the majority of the Sovereign CEO audience is men, I'm gonna use male examples. So if you are a woman, feel free to translate this to a female example, just cover that base. So given those three categories, let's address each one. First one is if you're a purely single dude and you need to address your sex life, your dating life at some point. Now, obviously, if you're single and you're completely sexless, you don't date, you don't have sex, and you're fine not having sex for years and years, shoot me in the fucking head, but okay. This is not Alpha Male 2.0, so I'm not gonna comment on that. This is Sovereign CEO, if that's your decision, fine. This is very simple for you. It requires zero management. You just go with God, do whatever you want, move wherever you want. You can be a backpacker, you can be a digital nomad, do whatever the hell you want, it's fine. Maybe what you guys might do is occasionally hook up with hookers in Thailand or in Tijuana, Mexico, whatever you wanna do, cool, that's fine. But my point is, if this is just not an aspect that is an active part of your life right now, you don't need to worry about that. Now, if you are single, but you like to have sex, I think we all do, and you like to date, you need to factor that in terms of your typical yearly schedule. What do I mean by that? Well, if you are a complete digital nomad, a PT, a perpetual traveler, this means you're not gonna be able to have any relationship more than very casual ones. And I have terms over at Alpha 2.0 about FB, NLTR, OLTR. I'm gonna try not to use those for Sovereign CEO because, again, it's not part of that context. But you are really, because of your lifestyle, limiting yourself to only casual relationships. If you want a serious dating relationship, that, I'm sorry, is not possible if you're in a different country every 6 weeks. I'm sorry, it's not. It's hard even if you're in a different country every 3 months or so. So just realize, if you have the true nomadic lifestyle, you're hitting a different country every few weeks, every few months, you just need to resign yourself to say, look, I'm not gonna have anything really serious until I lock myself in or settle down in a more permanent location. And that's just the way this goes, dude, I'm sorry. I have seen guys stupidly try to maintain long distance, serious relationships, monogamous or not, sometimes serious, sometimes super serious, with women when they live this nomadic lifestyle, and I've never seen it work more than maybe 4 or 5 months. That woman will end up hooking up with another dude, or stop seeing you, or stop talking to you, or stop texting. It's just the way it works. It's too much to ask of a person. So just be aware of this and accept this as the price you pay for this lifestyle. Now, here's the good news. You're not going to want to live that lifestyle for the rest of your life. Usually the perpetual traveler type lifestyle are for younger dudes, guys under the age of 35. And I promise you, when you're my age, you're not going to be wanting to hit a different country every month. You're not. It's cool when you're 27. It's awesome when you're 27. When you're 35, 32, it's great. When you get up past 35, you're like, okay, I need to kind of calm down here and settle down and pick some bases. So let's cover that. In my courses, I talk about how you can have a lifestyle where you are a rotator. You can have several different homes in several different countries and rotate between those. That's the plan I'm working on, is 3 different homes in 3 different countries. One in each part of the world, one in Asia, one in the middle of the world, which is Dubai, one in the Americas, probably Mexico, perhaps Paraguay or Panama. And so I want to have 3 different homes, and I basically rotate between those 3 homes. So I'm not going to 14 different countries, I'm going to 2 or 3 per year over time. And so in that scenario, you could maintain some relationships, but they're going to have to be more casual. But perhaps you could maintain more serious-ish relationships. And certainly we could introduce the concept of sugar daddy game into here, where you are actually paying these women, giving them more motivation to stick around and keep seeing you, even though they don't see you for 3 or 4 or 5 months at a time. You can certainly do that. That's certainly an option for higher income men, for older men. Sugar daddy dating, as I talk about in my Alpha 2.0 content, is really not something for guys under the age of 35, unless you are unusually wealthy for a young man. Now, let's move up a level and let's talk about if you have a serious girlfriend, okay, who you don't live with, and you're now going to leave your collapsing Western country. Well, you have an interesting conversation to have, don't you? And in many cases, you have a decision to make, because a lot of men limit themselves by not pursuing this lifestyle because, but I have a girlfriend. Well, my girlfriend wouldn't like that. Well, my girlfriend, I want to move to, Argentina, and my girlfriend goes, ew, gross, I don't want to do that. So I guess I can't move. They're what's called a beta male. Talk about that a lot in my Alpha 2.0 content. And if you're going to limit your lifestyle because you want to maintain a relationship with a woman who statistically you won't be with 5 years from now anyway, then in my opinion, you're being a moron. It's my opinion. So I've said this many times before. I've said this in my books. I talk about this in my primary book, The Unchained Man, at alphamalebook.com. No one woman will dictate my life to me. I don't care who she is. I don't care if I'm married to her. I don't care if I love her. I don't care if she's the mother of my children. I don't care. My life comes first. If she doesn't like it, she can leave. That's my attitude, and I'm a married man. And I'm married to someone who I think is very wonderful. But she knows that my life, my agenda, my overall macro is what I want it to be. And if she doesn't want to go along with the ride, she can divorce me anytime she wants and go be with someone else. I'm not going to change. I'm very flexible on the micro, but on the macro, this is what I want. And so I suggest you have the same attitude. If you want to leave your collapsing Western country, if you want to experience the world, and you have a girlfriend who doesn't want to come with you, then I think you have a decision to make, don't you? And I think you should leave. Be nice. Don't be an asshole. Maybe you could hook up with her when you come back, when you visit. But move on. By the way, let me tell you something else, something that many of these men forget. Women in non-Western countries are really, really fucking hot, okay? And let me give you another clue that a lot of these guys tend to forget. Women in non-Western countries have less AST, which means they're easier to have sex with, especially if you're a Western guy. So they're hotter and they're easier. Why are you clinging to your bitchy Western girlfriend? What are you doing? Hello? I suggest you take a week and go to the Philippines or go just about anywhere in South America, and you will see how easy it is down there when you're a Western guy. Take my word for it. And again, this is not Alpha Male 2.0. I'm not going to give you details on that kind of stuff. If you want more details, go to my other channel. Now, let's say you are lucky and you have a girlfriend who's willing to come with you. Well, that means that you're probably going to be living with her. And so you're going to convert the dynamic of the relationship into something else. And that means that the seriousness of the relationship is going to ratchet up a few levels. When you move in with a woman, that changes the entire dynamic. And so if that's something you're willing to do, to have this woman come with you, I suggest you do go to my Alpha 2.0 content. I have at least 2 books over there where I talk about how to manage non-monogamous, long-term happy relationships, both living with a woman and not living with a woman. I suggest you check out that content because you're going to need it. But just realize that if you have a girlfriend you're not living with, and she's going to come with you to wherever you're going to go, you're going to be living with her now. So it's not just you're changing the dynamic of leaving the country, you're really changing it by living with her full time or part time or whatever you're going to do. What some men do is, and I've seen this, some men when they make the decision to leave their countries or at least adopt an international lifestyle, they want to be tethered down, They nicely break up with their girlfriend, but they plan on getting a new girlfriend, a foreign girlfriend, in the new country. Great idea. Go ahead and do that. Perfectly fine. Now, I made the opposite choice. I'll talk about that in a second. But that is a perfectly valid decision. God bless. Go with God. Do it. Now, let's address the third category. You guys who are quote unquote married. You are living with your wife or living full-time with your girlfriend. Here's what I decided to do, and this is just my personal choice. This choice there are pros and cons to this choice. But what I decided to do when I was planning all this stuff out many years ago, back when I was not married, was I made the decision to get what I call an OLTR wife, a long-term wife companion with some prenuptial agreement stuff signed, non-monogamous marriage, all that good stuff. I wanted to get that done before I left the United States. I don't remember the criteria I used because this was many years ago, but I didn't want to relocate outside the United States and then try to find a woman who was serious enough to actually settle down with. Most guys don't have that problem. I did, and that's just because of me and my logistics in my life, the fact that I already have 2 children, the fact that I have international companies. It just made more sense for me to find an American woman, I am from the United States, to find an American woman, settle down with her, get that relationship nice and tight and perfect and locked up, and then relocate with her. So that's what I chose to do. The advantage is that now that I am outside the United States, now that I'm in Dubai and have various other flags, I don't really have to worry about finding a woman to settle down with. And you may say, I don't want to settle down with a woman. Yeah, that means you're young. That means you're under the age of 35. I promise you, statistically speaking, when you're over 35, certainly in your 40s, 50s, 60s, you will want to settle down in some form or fashion. I've talked about this a lot in my Alpha Male 2.0 content. It's very easy when you're 27 or 32 or 23 to say, I ain't never moving in with a girl. You say that now, wait till you're 46. You're going to think differently about this. But anyway, I don't have to worry about this because it's already done. It was done before I left the country. Nice. The disadvantage is there will be a lot of extra logistics for you to move your wife with you to your new location. If you have legal residency, you got to get her legal residency. You have to move her shit. And if she's a girly girl like my wife, she's going to have a lot of crap you have to move, which means you have to fly it or ship it or what have you to your new location. It's a pain in the ass. If she has, God forbid, a dog like my wife does, it's going to cause all kinds of chaos and hell with paperwork and laws and vaccinations and regulations and all kinds of other bullshit that you wouldn't have if you were completely single. So just be aware there's pros and cons to that. That was what I decided to do, and I'm happy with that decision. But that may not make sense to you. It might make a lot more sense for you to move, especially if you're younger than me, to move and then find someone long-term in the new location. Or even, frankly, if you're older than me. A lot of older men, divorced older Western guys, move away primarily to find a young, nice wife. Great. As I say, great. Do whatever you want. I'm just giving you the different options here. If you are planning on doing this in a few years, but you're not doing it right now, and you have someone in your life now, then guess what you have to do? This is what I had to do. You need to tell her. And in my opinion, you should use that as a criteria for whether or not she should remain in your life. So what I did with my wife, Pink Firefly, is when we were getting serious, dating but getting serious, I had what I call in my Alpha 2.0 content, the OLTR talk, and I gave her a list of 5 or 6 things that were negatives for her if she were to settle down with me. And one of the biggest ones was, hey, sweetheart, in a few years, I'm moving the hell out of the United States. I can't stand the United States. It is collapsing before my eyes. I'm getting out now while the getting is good. I don't want to wait for the entire United States to look like Los Angeles before I then move. That's stupid. I'm getting out now. So I'm getting out in a few years. I gave her a time frame. I said at the time, and I meant it, I love you, you're wonderful, I'd love to spend the rest of my life with you, but if you don't want to move out of the country with me, you should probably find another guy because I'm moving with or without you. And I meant it when I said it, and I still mean it. So you're going to have to do the same thing. If this is something you're planning on doing, and you've got something serious in your life, or someone new comes up in your life between now and then, between now and when you actually leave your country, you need to be honest and tell her. Now, if she says, I would never do that, well, then guess what? She just disqualified herself from being your long-term companion. Thank you, woman. Go find a new one. If she goes, all right, I'll do it, which is kind of what my wife said. She wasn't excited about it, but she's like, okay, all right, I'll do it. All right, I understand. I get it. I'm scared, but I'll do it. And we worked out. The point behind all of this is to manage these logistics in advance and expect them. If you're going to be a perpetual traveler, expect in advance to not have any serious relationships. If you are living with a woman, expect in advance to experience a bunch of extra logistical bullshit when you move her out of the country too. Sit down and plan this stuff out. What I've seen what a lot of guys do when they adopt international lifestyles like this is these problems and these logistics that I'm talking about right now, just smack them in the face and shock them like they had no idea they were coming. No, dumbass, sit down and figure this out first. Map it out and put it as part of your plan. All of the problems and logistics that Pink Firefly and I have experienced in her moving out of the country, very few of them were completely unanticipated by me. Almost all of them, with the exception of a few little minor things, were anticipated by me, and I put them in the plan. I expected them, including the delays that we had, because we had a few delays. I planned on, it's possible this may be delayed. So I plan on this stuff in advance, and that's what you need to do. That's the bottom line. You can't just ignore your woman life and completely focus on your business life, Five Flags life, international life. You've got to figure out how your woman life plugs in to your international lifestyle. It's important. It's a part of your life that is probably going to be a part of your life for the rest of your life. You have to give it the time it needs. That's why I include this in the Sovereign CEO podcast, not Alpha Male 2.0. If there are some more specifics that you need from me on how to integrate your woman life into your Sovereign CEO, location-dependent, international-based lifestyle, let me know, and I can certainly do a follow-up podcast on this topic. Again, I do not want to go deep into dating and relationship techniques because that is for Alpha Male 2.0. You can follow me over there and have all those you want. This is just about how to integrate that woman life into your international lifestyle. Cool? Cool. All right. Have fun. I'll see you next week. Bye.